Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. Today's Thursday, day 2 of the National, the first full day of the National, and I was there early. I got there at 8:30, started walking around, and a lot of tables aren't even set up at that time because it's early, and most people aren't even there until 9:30, 10 o'clock. But I walked around, I just looked at a lot of stuff. I got a couple of small deals early, and then the big hits came. And I'm going to show you in a little bit. I want to go through the show first, but then I'll get to my pickups. And yeah, I'm really, really excited with the stuff I bought today. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the temperature in the show. Yesterday was outrageously hot. It had to have been in the 80s in the convention center. Way too hot, and people complained about it a lot, and rightfully so. On Twitter, you go search the hashtag NSCC, and it's just everybody talking about how hot it was, including me. That was my only beef with yesterday, and today was much better. There were people who said that the heat may have been because they had the big, huge doors open as people were moving their stuff in, which made a lot of sense. Today, that wasn't the case anymore, so the temperature wasn't bad, although there was that one corner in the way back that was really hot. I felt bad for those dealers. I can't stress enough how insanely big this show is. The scale is staggering. It's unbelievable. Yesterday I think I hit most of the rooms at least. But every time you think you've seen everything, you realize, oh, there's a room over there I haven't seen yet, and you go in and it's this massive new room that you have to explore. And it's just, I can't describe it. Tomorrow, what I'll do is I will take my phone camera and I will just walk all around the entire thing, and I will record walking around the entire thing. I will then speed it up on the video, play it to some music, set it to some music, and then post that video for anybody who's interested in seeing how big this show is. It's indescribable. So I'm going to go through some videos here. I'll put some videos up here. I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Like this bobblehead collection was amazing. And last week I talked about bobblehead dolls, and somebody commented that there's no such thing as bobblehead dolls. Nobody's ever called them that before. So I posted on Twitter, set a poll, and like 40% of people said they've heard people call them bobblehead dolls. And I asked the guy who had thousands of bobbleheads, you ever heard people call them bobblehead dolls? He said, oh sure. People call them a lot of things, but definitely bobblehead dolls. Bobblehead dolls, bobbleheads, whatever. He said people call them yes men and baubles. And anyway, he had an amazing bobblehead collection. I did not buy wax today, and that's an achievement for me. There was a lot of wax there, not only ultra modern, but a lot of vintage wax. And I didn't really look through this video very well. Just an insane amount of stuff. Whatever you can imagine, it's there. I stopped by the REA booth, Robert Edwards Auctions. They have some sick, iconic cards. They also had the Tito 6 Joe Doyle. I think it's the hands overhead card that is really, really rare. I think the bidding right now is at like $500,000 or $600,000, and they're expecting it to go for over $1 million. I believe you'll see that in an upcoming Attic Find Friday video. By the way, there will be no Attic Find Friday this week because of the National. There probably won't be a Clearing the Bases episode this week because of the National, but then I'll be back on regular schedule next week. Next to the REA booth was a series of autographed paintings of goats, not the animal goats, but greatest of all time players, plus some others like David Ortiz, who, he's a Boston goat. But yeah, it was so cool. It was really neat seeing these. Other cool things I saw, like a Walt Disney signed check, a bunch of other oddball signed items. There was a MLK Jr. autograph there. And as a Yaz collector, there was a Yaz autograph run, which I thought was really neat. I'm not interested in doing a Yaz autograph run, but it's still cool to see. I just want the cards. I do want the 1960 autographed and the 61 autographed. I'm going to get those both done via private signing as soon as he has one that comes up. Something unique that you never see is a table covered with presidential pins. And then at the very end, there were like some old Disney pins, I think. But yeah, the presidential pins, there were hundreds of them, maybe more. I'm not really sure. Really, really interesting stuff. And that's the kind of thing you see every, I don't know, 10 or 15 tables. You're going to see stuff you've never seen or heard of before. I happened to spot the Autograph Pavilion today, which I did not see yesterday. That's one of those things where you see it and you're like, oh yeah, how did I not see this yesterday? It's massive. But yeah, Autograph Pavilion, I didn't see anybody signing, but it was during signing times. The most interesting thing maybe was some dude, young guy in his 20s, trading a T206 Cobb portrait, I think, if I remember correctly, for $3,200 in cash, plus a bunch of big-time vintage cards and like a Babe Ruth magazine, old-time Babe Ruth magazine. And he was so excited, and the dealer was counting out the money, and this guy in his 20s was live streaming it. And I'm not sure what he was live streaming it to. He had his phone vertical, so I don't know. I'm not really sure what he was live streaming it to. Maybe TikTok? I don't know enough about all these things. I don't know much about all these things. But it was cool to see. I took this picture kind of sneakily, creepily, maybe. And you can't really tell what a lot of it is. Maybe you can. I just snapped it real fast. Then I saw all these iconic figurines of big time players. I thought that was cool. And then I made my way over to the main stage where Danny, John, Dylan, and Adam were all on the main stage talking. That was really cool. And then I met dozens of YouTubers, sports card YouTubers today. I'll be meeting more at the YouTube get together tonight. If you don't know where that's going to be, go to Baseball Collector Mike's channel and he put up a video of how to find it. Hung out with Danny most of the morning. Really enjoyed Danny's company. He's just a funny guy, fun, smart. And then we got lunch at Steak and Shake. Whew. Yes. 2 thumbs up. All right, let's get into my cards. The cards I picked up today. Let's see. Do I do this in some sort of order? Yeah, let's put the top ones at the back. So I'm doing the Pedro Martinez prospect set. And, I normally don't tell the prices I pay for things, but I did yesterday and I'm going to again today. So Pedro prospect, I have this card. I just got it autographed a couple weeks ago. And now here it is in a PSA 10. And I'm also doing the 100 best cards of the 1980s by Mike Payne. And here's the Randy Johnson. I didn't even look to see if Randy Johnson was in there. I assume he is. I hope he is. And so I bundled these two together. Total comes to $115. I paid $80, I think, for the two of these. I talked about negotiating yesterday, and he came back and said, I'll do 90. And I said, no, I'm going to hold tight at 80. And he said, all right, let's do it. In the past, I would have said, okay, let's do 90. But I didn't this time, and I'm really happy about that. And then I bundled these two. Also, 2 more that I assume are in the 100 greatest cards. Griffey 89 score traded in a 9, and the Darryl Strawberry Tops traded 83 in an 8. These together came to 70, but I paid 45, I think. So really happy with those. And then yesterday I mentioned I wanted a 55 or 56 Jackie Robinson. I went with 54. It's in a 2. It is a very nice 2. Let's see if we can get some better lighting here. It's a 2, and it's priced at $395. I think I offered $330, and he came back at $350, and I said, no, I'll stick with $330, and he agreed to it. I'm finding that dealers are very agreeable to offers. They had several dealers say everything must go. everything. They did not want to leave the show with any cards left. That seems impossible to me, but that's okay. I'm finding dealers are very, very nice and enjoy negotiating. I did have a couple who shooed me away, not really shooed me away, but they said, no, we're not going to budge on that. And I said, okay, that's fine. So yeah, really excited to add a 54 Jackie to my PC. Really nice. In the back also looks good. Not that you can tell very well here. 54 Jackie, but that's not the big one. That is not the big one. So I'm 44 years old. I was born in 79, started collecting in 86. You know where this is going, right? The biggest card out there for me is the 89 Griffey Jr. Upper Deck card. I pulled one out of a pack in, I don't know, 89, 1990 maybe, and ultimately I sold it at a card show when I was 13 or 14 years old. I would get a table, I would buy a table at a show and set up, and I was a dealer, and I sold it for $75 raw, because of course I didn't grade any cards back in the early 90s. And I still remember the guy and thinking to myself, am I going to regret this? And sold it for 75 bucks, which I think now is amazing that I sold it for that much back then. And I have one in a PSA 5 that I picked up at a card show, raw, for really cheap a couple of years ago. And I have been eyeballing the autograph. You know, I love autographs, love them, and this is the most iconic one out there. Griffey autographed, 8 card, 10 auto. This is dual graded, so you've got the 1989 Upper Deck plus the auto grade. It's, so, you know, I want to have this in my PSA set registry, so it had to be dual graded. And he had this out with a bunch that were not dual graded that he had priced also at $500. And I said, I really don't want to insult you, but I want to make an offer. And he said, I'll make an offer. And I said, I was thinking $350. And he said, no, I can't do that. And I said, okay. And I walked away. I went and I looked up comps, and the comps came in at $425 to $450 on eBay for an 8 card, 10 auto. And I went back and I showed him the comp. I said, would you do 4 flat? And he said, yep, let's do it. That's a big one, you guys. That's going to go up on the wall behind me at home. So you'll be seeing that. Make sure you're subscribed, because I have more content maybe today, more tomorrow, more Saturday. I have a lot of stuff coming. All right, I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great time at the show if you're there. Hope to see you at the YouTube get together tonight or at the show tomorrow. Thanks.